This week was a little rough. I struggle with insomnia from time to time, and this week was particularly bad. That means I didn't have a ton of energy to film out throughout the week, but I still wanted to force myself to at least have a small update for this week. The first thing I did this week is work on the theme selection settings. Being able to toggle between using the system default settings or force the app into either dark or light mode. I also wanted to use that work to set the building blocks to be able to change between different color schemes for the app at some point in the future. Alright, so here's the thing. I started working on the dark theme last week and got it to somewhere where it was basically working and, doing what I wanted it to do. But I'm thinking of adjusting, having the option of adjusting the theme and stuff like that, and just thinking about this and looking at the code makes me realize that it is absolutely not scalable, and it's just not going to work if I want to add anything to it. It's a really bodgy, hacky type of solution. So I was hoping to get done with it kind of quickly today, but I'm actually going to spend the day, I think, trying to figure something that will work a little bit more generally and that I can keep using and be happy with, even maybe thinking about future projects. So it's not going to move forward as fast as I thought today, but I think I'm better off just putting the time to try to fix it right now while I can. I ended up making some progress, but eventually ran into some issues with views not reloading after changing the theme because I was using UI appearance, which you apparently can't force to refresh without having to remove it from the view completely and add it back in, or change to a different view and then come back. I found what I think is kind of a hacky way to force it to refresh by removing the views and adding them back in, which I wasn't happy with, but I left as is for the time being. On Tuesday, I continued to work on the theme management cases, and I realized I was right to think what I had done was kind of a hacky way up to this point. Things started working pretty badly when toggling through system settings outside of the app. So remember yesterday when I said I was basically done with managing the themes and I just needed to, add the colors and stuff like that? Well, it turned out to be a lot more complicated than I anticipated. One of the big hurdles that happened is basically that since all my color management for dark theme was done within my custom, manager or whatever, reloading all my views and stuff like that became super complicated. And I just don't want to have to deal with that if there's tools that are gonna reload all my views instantly when I change from dark mode to light mode or whatever. If I can leave as much as that to be managed by the platform itself and not have to think about it, it's going to be better in the long run. So I went back to my theme management code, and instead of trying to deal with it all in its own custom manager and refresh the colors of my views manually, I cleaned up things as much as possible to use dynamic colors directly in the asset catalog. That way I can manage the color scheme switches, but all the dark and light mode transitions are done almost automatically without having to worry about them too much. On Wednesday, I finished the theme management refactoring, mostly making sure the user settings were saved when the app was killed, and making sure the colors not managed automatically by the app, for example the table view cells, were reloaded properly after settings were changed. It might not seem like much to most of you guys that have been doing this for a lot longer than me, but being the first time that I do all this like dark theme stuff and like being able to change it as much as I want and have it reload nicely and deal well with how people change the settings on iOS directly, it feels really good to have a nice clean solution to this that I can use basically anywhere right now. It's kind of a kick in the butt to like work on that really simple stuff for like 2 days or a day and a half or whatever and feel like you're not, you know, getting the right thing. And it's kind of discouraging to feel like, oh, everybody else probably has the perfect answer for this and it's so trivial that why am I even spending time on this? It just feels really good to finally get this over with. I finished the day by doing a bit of design for the view that congratulates the user for reaching a certain saved trash goal.
Not an ounce of water nor a cloud in sight.
Thursday was spent implementing the design that I had made the day before. Then figuring out how to use particle emitters and play around with them a little bit to make the view a little bit more fun. Don't worry, I'm not an artist. I'll most likely hire someone to make a nice looking trophy giving earth at some point.
Grab your dear daughter Pearl and hold her close and whisper of the promise of spring and the flowers and God above.
Alright, so that was it for this week. Not the most complete development vlog I've done on this channel so far, but considering how off I've been feeling for this whole week, I'm just happy that I get to update all of you on what I've been working on this week, even if it wasn't as good of a video as I would have liked it to be. It's also good for me to be able to go back to that video later and be like, I still made a decent amount of progress and moved a little bit forward, even though I felt kind of crappy that week. You know, this is kind of a self-documenting thing, so it's kind of good to be able to go back and remember and have, you know, concrete evidence, I guess, that even when things aren't perfect, they're still good enough to move forward and, you know, do something positive. So if you liked it, make sure to like the video. If you want to see more development vlogs or just talking vlogs or talking videos, make sure to hit subscribe. And no video next week. I'll be on vacation. I'll still be working on the app. So expect a bigger update, but that's going to be in 2 weeks. Until then, take care.